to the Library Kitchen here at the Gloucester County Public Library. I'm Chris, and today at the library, we've got the reigning daffodil queen, Stephanie Rydell, and Stephanie's gonna help me make something that's fabulous for your February, because February is football playoffs and the Super Bowl. It's also Mardi Gras, and Mardi Gras starts on February 21st, and today we're making a sausage and chicken gumbo using andouille sausage, chicken. It's gonna be fabulous. So Stephanie, have you ever made a gumbo before?
I have not made a gumbo before.
Yeah, well, this will be your first then. Now,
First.
we're gonna have to sit with this cast iron pot because you can't make gumbo if you don't have a cast iron pot. No, it won't work in another type of pot. You also can only make gumbo if you use a wooden spoon, because this is the only type of spoon that can go in the gumbo pot. These are rules. There's a lot of rules to gumbo. We're going to explore those today as you cook gumbo. All right, how's that sound?
Sounds perfect to
Sounds
me.
perfect. So let's get started with our gumbo. And the first thing we have to do is make a roux. Well, this is where we're going to deviate from the traditional gumbo recipe. We're going to be making a dry roux, because if not, somebody's going to sit here and have to stir a pot of flour and oil for about 45 minutes.
Even I don't want to watch it.
Nobody wants to watch that, really, Stephanie. It's really boring just to sit and stir a pot. The reason we're going to deviate from the traditional roux of oil and flour is because it does take so long, and it can burn in an instant if it gets too dark, and then you have to throw that roux out and start all over again, which is another 40 to 45 minutes of stirring and watching the roux. So today we're going to use a dry roux. I thought that would be best for you, since you're an inexperienced gumbo maker.
Ah, thank you.
So what we're going to do first is you're going to take 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to start to preheat your oven to 425. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our stainless steel skillet. We're going to put 1 cup of all-purpose flour in the skillet. We're going to put that in the oven at 425 for 40 to 45 minutes. That will speed the process along. Now what happens after 40 to 45 minutes is you get this nice toasted all-purpose flour that's going to be the base of our gumbo. How's that sound to you? Perfect, right? Mm-hmm. So folks, I already did this earlier today. I baked my flour in the oven and it's nice and toasty. Kind of looks like a brown sugar or cinnamon kind of color. We'll put that aside here for just a few minutes. So Stephanie, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get 2 pounds of chicken thighs that I've cut up. We're going to get that into our pot and get those cooking for about 6 minutes on medium-high heat. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our induction on. And we've got a little bit of, actually I put a little bit of bacon grease in the bottom of my pot to brown my thighs in. So Stephanie, here's your official gumbo stir. One thing I've got to tell you before you get started stirring with that wooden spoon in the gumbo pot is you're only allowed to stir counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. You're not allowed to stir gumbo clockwise. Legend has it, when you make your gumbo, if you stir it counterclockwise, it ensures a quiet hurricane season. And we know about hurricanes here in Virginia, right?
We don't want another one.
We don't want another one, and we don't want a bad one. So you've got to stir in a counterclockwise, okay?
Got it.
So let's go ahead and get the chicken thighs into the pot. And I'll take that bowl for you. And if you could just remember to stir the chicken, break it up, get it in the bottom of that pot, cook it. Now, like I said, we're going to cook the chicken thighs for 6 minutes, okay? We're not trying to cook them all the way through, because we're going to add our chicken thighs once they're cooked back to the pot later on to finish cooking through, okay? All right, so 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Timer started. Keep us stirring. So yeah, we've got a couple more minutes left on our chicken thighs, and again, the chicken thighs are dark meat, but it also has a lot of flavor, and it's a little bit of a fattier piece of chicken, which helps because then we're going to be cooking our vegetables in that chicken fat. So flavor, flavor, flavor. Because when you say gumbo, you mean flavor. Just a few more minutes and our chicken will be done and we can remove it from our pot. All right, now Stephanie, it's been about 6 or 7 minutes and you know, it feels like an eternity watching you stirring the chicken in this pot. So I can only imagine what it'd be like for 45 minutes watching you stir a roux.
It'd be crazy. I'd be hungry. Be a little hangry by then.
Hangry, that's right. And what would you be doing in the flour?
You know, at that point, I think I'd be drawing a few little pictures, start playing Pictionary.
With your roux?
With my roux.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, I think that's ready because we don't want to cook the chicken all the way. We're just trying to, you know, sear it on the outside, get it halfway, kind of par cooked, and then we're going to take it out. So let me get that bowl. All right, so I'll trade you. I'll give you this pot. You give me the wooden spoon.
I'll give you the sacred wooden spoon.
The sacred wooden spoon, that's right. You just put the chicken thighs in there, and we're going to leave that chicken fat that rendered out of our thighs, we're going to leave that in the pot when we put in our andouille sausage. And I don't know if I said this, but the andouille, thank you Chef Wynn of Nuttall Store here in the Ware Neck area of Gloucester for hooking me up with some traditional andouille sausage from Louisiana. So I went to get some sausage the other day from him, and he happened to pull out a 5-pound rope of sausage and said, "Here you go." It's good sausage.
Got one little piece in here.
One piece. All right. All right, Stephanie, you can now dump in that andouille sausage. And again, we're going to cook this for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then we're going to remove the sausage from the pot. All right, and of course, I'm going to give you the wooden spoon back.
Thank you.
I'll have to stir anything. 5 to 6 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Keep a stirring.
Keep a stirring.
Smell it now. That smells good. All right. So, Stephanie, you've been stirring this pot of sausage now for 6 minutes, and I think we're ready to take the sausage out of the pot.
Yes, it's smelling very good and it's making me very happy.
And you know what's in the bottom of this pot, folks? Fawn.
Delicious.
Deliciousness, right? Delicious fawn. And we did our chicken in this pot and the sausage in the pot because we wanted to get that fond at the bottom of the pot and to render out the fat of the sausage and the chicken some to cook our vegetables in, because it's all about flavor, especially when you start talking about gumbo. So Stephanie, let's go ahead and remove our sausage, and I'll take the sacred spoon. All right. Perfect. Man, that's smelling so good. I wish you could smell it.
It smells delicious. When are they going to come out with the technology to be able to smell through the screen?
I don't
That's
know.
what I want to know.
I'm tell you, this is delightful right now. I'm gonna turn this down to a medium high. We're gonna leave the grease from the chicken thighs and the sausage in the pot. And now, once we get that last little bit of sausage out, we're gonna be ready to put in 1 onion. So Stephanie, 1 onion's gonna go in the pot. And I'll trade you. 1 diced onion. I'll take that for you. 1, actually it's 2 celery stalks diced, which equals about 1 cup. And lastly, 1 green bell pepper diced. And Stephanie, can you tell me what this combination of vegetables might be called?
Holy Trinity?
The Holy Trinity, that's right. In Cajun cooking, it's onion, bell pepper, and celery. In French cooking, it's a mirepoix, which is carrots, onion, and celery. So we're doing the Holy Trinity. All right, so we're going to cook that for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Right.
So Stephanie, I was told that you plan on going into culinary arts.
I am indeed planning on going into baking and pastry here soon.
Okay. So that's going to be, are you going away to that? Are you going to a school here in Virginia?
I'm not going to school in Virginia, sadly. I'm actually going to Texas
Oh, okay.
for about 2 years. They have a program where I can not only get my certificate in baking and pastry, but my associate's degree in business as well.
Cool, cool.
So I'm able to get both aspects of it. They also have really good ties with Disney, actually. And so they have a bunch of job fairs every year. And might be able to get me a little push to the inside.
Okay. Well, you know, that's where I started my culinary career, was at Busch Gardens back in 1986 at the Smokehouse.
Ooh, Smokehouse is good.
That's why I got my love of cooking, Busch Gardens. Well, I think we got 2 or 3 more minutes. We'll cut this down to medium, and after a couple minutes, we will start adding our spices. So, 2 or 3 more minutes. Keep stirring.
Keep stirring.
Keep stirring. Counterclockwise with a wooden spoon.
Don't want a
and
hurricane.
a cast iron pot. Don't want a hurricane. That's right.
If you don't have all 3, shame on you.
That's right. That's right. We'll be back. So Stephanie, our Holy Trinity is cooked down just for a few minutes. The next thing we're going to add is a tablespoon of minced garlic. And we don't add it in the very beginning when we start mixing our vegetables because we don't want the garlic to burn and it will give a bad taste in our gumbo. So 1 tablespoon minced garlic into the pot. And you can just stir that. We'll give it about 30 seconds and then we'll start adding our other spices.
Make it nice and fragrant.
Yeah. Whew. Man, that smells good. I know it's going to taste even better. Now, Stephanie, do you know the difference between Cajun and Creole?
I don't.
Well, for gumbo, a Cajun gumbo does not have tomatoes. No tomatoes. We're not putting tomatoes in this. That's right. Now, if we were making a Creole gumbo, yeah, we might have tomatoes. We might have seafood. But that's the difference between a gumbo that's a Cajun style versus a Creole style. It's the tomatoes and the seafood. We're not putting seafood into our gumbo pot with our chicken and andouille sausage. That's a no-no as well. All right, so our next spice, 1 teaspoon of sweet paprika into the pot. And give it a quick stir. The next thing we're going to put is 1 tablespoon of thyme. Half a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. That's optional, but I'll be honest with you, I really like it. I think it brings something out in the gumbo.
He highly recommends.
1/8 of a teaspoon, only 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's really the only heat. Next, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of pepper. Give it a good stir. We're kind of blooming those spices. You can really start to smell that, can't you?
I thought I was hungry walking in here.
Yeah. You're going to be hungry in about an hour, a couple hours from now.
Yeah.
But we do have a pot of gumbo that we made yesterday, and I'll get to that in a minute why we made it yesterday. Next, 2 bay leaves into the pot. All right, and so you're going to cook this. You're going to stir it for another minute or so, and then we're going to add 4 cups of chicken stock to our vegetable, or to our Holy Trinity.
Gonna get some strong wrists after this.
Oh yeah. All right. Everything looks pretty good. So 4 cups of chicken stock into the pot. And now we're going to kick this up to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, we're going to add in our chicken thighs. Once we do that, we're going to cut it back down to a simmer and let it go for about 30 minutes. It's almost
some
there.
magicalness.
That's right, some Cajun magic.
Yes.
All right, so it's been a couple minutes and our pot has come up to a boil. We're now going to add that chicken back in. Chicken's going to go into the pot. We're going to, after the chicken goes in, we're going to put the lid on the pot and we're going to finish cooking that chicken on about a medium low for about 20 minutes. And then we'll finish up with our roux and put our gumbo together. So 20 more minutes. We're going to put the lid on the pot on a medium low and let that chicken finish cooking. It will add more flavor to our vegetables and our broth.
Smells delicious.
All right, 20 more minutes. All right, Stephanie, it's been about 20 or 30 minutes. Our chicken has most likely finished cooking. So you're gonna have to pick out the chicken and put it in that bowl because we're gonna then make our roux. I'm gonna take this top of this pot off. It's really hot. I'll turn this down to medium.
Smells
It
delicious.
is. Oh, I know. So we've cooked our chicken all the way through now, and there's all that flavor in that pot. We're gonna pull out the chicken, and then we're gonna make our roux, put back in the pot. Now, once you pick out the chicken, we're gonna put our roux in. We're going to then shred our chicken, and we're gonna put it back into the pot, along with our roux.
I think I've almost got all of it.
Yeah, I think you do. Yep,
That
looks
was
like
it.
you do.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Now, to make our roux, because we're making a dry roux, we have 1 cup of all-purpose flour that we baked in the oven instead of staying over that pot with oil and flour for 40 minutes. And the risk of burning the roux, which means we got to throw it out and start all over again. So 1 cup of toasted all-purpose flour goes into our bowl,
Got it.
and 2 cups of chicken stock go into that, and then we're going to whisk to make our roux. I know this sounds odd, but it works. Instead of cooking that flour in oil for 40 minutes. So we're going to vigorously whisk that flour, that toasted flour, into this chicken stock.
Mixing it up.
And mixing it up and splattering it everywhere. So it takes just a second or two for this to come together.
I know it looks like chocolate pudding, but don't eat
It's supposed to. It's supposed to look like chocolate or peanut butter. That's the perfect color for a dark roux. The darker the roux, the better, but not burnt. But it's supposed to be about this color. Not the color of peanut butter or melted chocolate.
it. You want milk chocolate, not dark chocolate.
Right, that's exactly right. So it looks like our roux has come together. All right, and I'm gonna now pour it into the pot. Whisking as I go, counterclockwise. I know it's not with a wooden spoon, but I'm trying to incorporate my roux into that pot. So you can see it's now coming together. We are going to put the lid on and let this go for a few minutes, maybe about 10, 15 minutes. And in that time, our chicken will cool, we'll shred it, we'll take our lid off of our gumbo, we'll add the chicken back in, and our filet back in, and our sausage. We're almost done, folks. So, a few more minutes.
A few more minutes.
All right, Stephanie, you ready to look at the roux and how it turned out so far? Oh, there we go. It's a nice rolling boil. It smells great. So if you could give it a stir. So the next thing we're going to do with our gumbo is we're ready to add a little filet powder. Now, filet powder is ground sassafras leaves.
Ground sassafras.
That's right, ground sassafras. We're going to add that to our pot of gumbo. And what that does, it acts as a thickener because we're not using okra, which is normally a natural thickener. But we're using filet powder, and it does give it a different flavor too. It really, it's a must when you're making gumbo to put the filet powder in. Also, I like to garnish my gumbo bowl with a little sprinkling of filet. But we're going to put a little bit of filet in our mixture. So just mix that in. Just stir it all in good, and then we're going to add our chicken and our sausage back to the pot. So that looks good. So let's add our chicken into the pot. Perfect. And then we're going to add our andouille sausage into the pot. Perfect. And we're gonna mix that in so everything is incorporated. We're gonna add a little splash of white vinegar, just to brighten things up in the pot. Give it a good stir. You're gonna simmer this for another 20 minutes. So 20 more minutes, and we'll be back. 20 minutes. Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? We're gonna transfer this pot to our other induction cooktop, and I made a pot of gumbo last night because you don't ever decide to make gumbo. You have to plan to make gumbo because gumbo should be served the next day. So you make it one day, and then you serve it the next. It allows all the flavors to kind of mingle and come together. And so that's what I did, folks. I made a pot of gumbo yesterday, put it in the refrigerator, and so we're making a pot for you today. This will go in the refrigerator tonight for tomorrow, and I've got a pot over here on the other induction that's ready to go.
So nice to meet you. Let me eat it today.
Thank you.
You're so nice.
All right, see you in just a few minutes. Well, Stephanie, it's been a long and arduous road to making this gumbo, right? It's been several hours. Now, I made this gumbo last night so that I had time to the flavors to blend together. So we're ready to try it. So there's something special about serving gumbo, and that is there's a special ratio to rice to gumbo.
Special ratio?
A ratio. It's 1 cup rice to 2 cups gumbo. Okay, because if you strain out all the juices and everything of the gumbo, well, then it's just rice and gravy or something. I mean, it's, and it should be served in a bowl. Gumbo is meant to be served in a bowl. And what we're going to do is we're going to serve this up. So I'm going to ladle 2 cups of gumbo in your bowl. Look at this gumbo, folks. Oh my gosh. 2 cups of gumbo. To 1 cup rice. We've got extra long grain rice. That's what you want to use for gumbo. Extra long grain rice. Not sushi rice, not brown rice, not jasmine rice. It's just extra long grain white rice. So we're going to put a cup of white rice in your bowl. Now, the next thing to do is we could do a couple things. We can garnish it with green onions. We could sprinkle a little filet powder on the top. So let me go get the green onions and the filet powder. I'll be right back. So Stephanie, the way to properly do your gumbo is for a bunch of green onions and a pair of scissors, right? And you're gonna snip little edges off of the green onions into your gumbo bowl. You're then gonna take a couple pinches of filet powder and sprinkle that over your gumbo. And that is a proper gumbo. So there's a spoon right there for you. Why don't you give it a shot? Tell me what you think. Is it good? It's a little spicy. A little spicy. It's good though, isn't it?
That's delicious.
It is delicious. It's a wonderful gumbo. Now, folks, this version of gumbo that we just made is in Don Link's Real Cajun cookbook that we have here at the library. So you should come check it out. Also, gumbo is served. Did you know this? Gumbo is served with potato salad, either on the side or there's a recipe that we're going to put in the link to this video to make potato salad for gumbo. It's a special potato salad. Special potato salad. It has Creole mustard in it. It does not have eggs or pickles like you would normally serve at a barbecue. And so it's wonderful with a scoop on top of the rice in your gumbo bowl, where you get a spoonful of potato salad, rice, and gumbo all in one bite. It's fabulous. So again, this book, this recipe, a variation of it is here at the library in this new book that we just got in. You should come check it out. And Stephanie, thank you so much for coming to the Library Kitchen.
It's been so much fun.
Thank you. And folks, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Gloucester County YouTube channel so that you don't miss any more recipes or demonstrations in the future. Happy Mardi Gras.
And let the good times roll.
Bye-bye.